Gary Franchi here with the Reality Report. We are welcoming back to the show Julio Roseo with an update on the police state actions that took place at Western Illinois University. Julio, talk to us. You just told us that you have a rally demonstration planned for 12:15 today at the University Union, and now the university's newspaper has put out a hit piece against the students, basically calling them anarchists when they were simply celebrating the end of the school year. The police have issued tickets. Give us the update.
All right, thanks, Gary. First off, for what you're doing, all the students really thank your work or appreciate your work for what you're doing. Here's the article of the Western Courier, if you can see on screen. Anarchy on Wheeler. I'll bring it up close, just showing pictures of the bike being put on the stop sign. This is the Western Courier. Anyone can look this up online. And yeah, it's a real attack piece. Basically saying that it was, the students that were causing a riot. It's just absurd, really absurd to see that the university and some of our own students are turning their backs against us and are taking the side of the state. It's absurd. Like you talked about the rally, a lot of students want their voices to be heard. So I just decided yesterday afternoon, you know what? I have a speaker box. I'm gonna get batteries, and this afternoon, May 3rd at 12:15 Central Time, probably going all afternoon, maybe till 3 o'clock. I'm not sure. We'll go until people are done talking. We'll film it, and we're gonna have everyone who was affected on Saturday at the tyrannical police state that we saw. We want their voices to be heard, and hopefully a lot of students show up.
Well, as we can see now by the view count that's taken on the original YouTube video is over now 20,000 views. So the message is spreading quickly. Also, you noticed, or you mentioned to me that what you noticed in some of the photographs and some of the video footage of the early
events.
The early events, that there were actually ROTC students, law enforcement students, who were provocateuring.
Yeah, that was something I was afraid of. We're still working on that. We're trying to get confirmation. I've been talking to a bunch of students who noticed in the article, again, on our Western Courier, Anarchy on Wheeler. You can look this up. Some students noticed ROTC backpacks with some of the kids throwing up the bike on the stop sign. And again, we have video evidence of police officers literally standing footsteps away, probably around where my finger is. They're standing right around here watching this take place. And then students mentioned that these students ran off. So I'm not sure if they are provocateurs or not. That's an assumption, but we're working on that, and we're trying to figure out what happened, because if this was provocateur action, the police officers are going to severely pay for this, because innocent students got arrested. They were maced. They were tear gassed, and these officers could have stopped this at any time. We have the evidence to prove it. Now, you mentioned earlier about tickets being issued. I have friends that live on Wheeler Street, and each house yesterday afternoon, from what I've been told, received $175 tickets for littering, for trash on their outside their homes, and noise complaints. That's absurd. The streets were cleaned. I went back Saturday night and Sunday just to check how the street was, and it seemed clean to me. So I think the police officers are way out of line here. This is absurd what they're doing to us. Again, this just shows that our police officers are money revenue collectors and not peace officers.
All right, Julio, we're going to wish you the best out there at your demonstration today, and we'll have you back.
South Korea stages a disaster drill to prepare for natural disasters and threats of terrorism. The drill was a combined operation among civilians, the government, the army, and the police.
More than 400 South Korean soldiers and police staged a disaster drill in downtown Seoul on Tuesday. The drill simulated how they would deal with security threats, hostage situations, and natural disasters. Soldiers rappelled down the side of a building, the bomb squad detonated a suitcase, and civilians helped demonstrate emergency evacuation drills.
Today we're conducting this drill in a combined operation among civilian, government, army, and police. Our army is ready to cope with any special disasters. such as terror, fire, and earthquakes. We will go into action immediately in perfect order, as if dealing with our enemy.
Officials say the drill will increase the country's preparedness for any emergency situation.
Glenn, law enforcement were on their toes today for an early morning terror drill on Tri-Rail. This was the scene at the Tri-Rail station in West Palm Beach. West Palm Beach police led the exercise along with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and officials from the Transportation Safety Administration. This was part of a 3-county exercise stretching south from the Palm Beaches to Miami.
Terrorism experts say a retaliation attack for Osama bin Laden's death is inevitable. Terrorists are expected to aim for more vulnerable soft targets like shopping malls, even museums. CBS 2's Hazel Sanchez reports.
They are places jam-packed with people, pedestrian malls, shopping centers, and stadiums.
Yeah, I feel safe, but of course, in the back of my head, I know that things can happen.
Counterterrorism expert Yuval Aviv says terrorists seeking revenge for Osama bin Laden's death will turn to attacks less dramatic than the destruction on September 11th, focusing instead on soft targets like hotels, places of worship, and mass transit hubs.
It's easier, less complicated for them to carry out. What they're going to achieve, if they're successful, is to kill as many people as possible.
Security consultant David Bohm says the future could include security checkpoints entering all soft targets, like your local department store. Bohm says even with a police presence, the areas are vulnerable.
The reason they're called soft is because it's so easily accessible to anyone. There has to be security checks for the safety of all people.
Added security is a turnoff for some New Yorkers.
There's a police presence, and they search someone with a backpack. Somebody who looks not really suspicious, but it's random. So I would go if that is the case, not if everyone is being searched.
It's better to be safer than sorry.
Despite the challenges to secure high-volume soft targets like here in Times Square, security experts say one of the best lines of defense already exists and doesn't cost a thing.
We are millions and millions of eyes and ears. We need to assist each other and keep each other safe.
Freedom coming with an increasingly heavy price. In Midtown, Hazel Sanchez.
Everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Wednesday, May 4th, 2011, and I'm Darko. This is part 3 of this news bulletin for today. My website is right here, www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. And we're just going to move forward here because I have a lot of articles to cover in this particular video. I'm sorry for the delay in those videos there. I was having bandwidth problems. So up here is post 9/11 changes to industries outlive bin Laden, and this is where we left off in the last video, basically talking about how you're going to be groped and prodded and searched and have your rights basically suspended, all in the name of government-sponsored terror. Security on higher alert across U.S., and it says here, world is put on full alert for backlash by the terrorists. So I guess that means the government's going to allow attack to happen or carry it out themselves. It says here, bin Laden's death sparked increased security at potential terrorist targets worldwide. And it says here, David Cameron, be vigilant and beware the lone wolf fanatic. So Britain must be remain on high alert amid the danger of a terrorist outrage perpetuated by a lone wolf fanatic. I wonder who those types of people can be. Next up, we have U.S. must remain vigilant, says Chair of House Homeland Security Panel. Head of Homeland Security Committee said Monday that the United States must temper victory with vigilance in the wake of Osama bin Laden's assassination. Okay, then we have fears bin Laden killing may spark reprisals. And, you know, and we're seeing all this, and the question is, well, why? France fears al-Qaeda or al-Qaeda retaliation. Britons face tough security control. Why? Well, because if Osama bin Laden was working for intelligence agencies, which it looks very likely that he was, then it would make sense that you know, that the terrorists are going to attack, right? Because that's the whole thing. They want to. People are losing faith in the whole getting searched. They don't like it. They don't like having their privacy invaded. So they have to be reminded, like little children, why this is happening to them. So even though they arrested the boogeyman, it's my own theory that basically the quote killing of Osama bin Laden was basically the end of a little era for most of us. In other words, all of that infrastructure, all of that Big Brother and all the wiretapping, Patriot Act, all the bills that have been signed, all the cameras that have been put up on the intersections, the body scanners, everything else, and now soft targets like bus stations, train stations are going to start getting groped. All this is in the name of terror, right? And the whole 9/11 attack was what? Carried out by the government. So it's all false. Most terrorism is false. And so with that being said, we're now going into a new age, which is basically it's going to be all turned inward towards the individual citizen who resists the takeover of their sovereignty, the takeover of their economy, and accepting austerity and eugenics. And that's why you have it worldwide in unison, like there in Korea doing drills. I mean, it's all the same thing, right? You have black uniforms going through the middle of the heartland in the United States in Western Illinois University. I graduated from there. It's a small town, not a lot of protesters. Most of them are liberals, and that's enough said. You don't need G20 style tear gas and LRADs on a little rural university, okay? And then you're seeing it again for what? Oh, in case of fire or earthquakes in North Korea, the same black uniforms, SWAT teams, right? So this is all for a reason. It's getting ready for the final takeover stage. It has nothing to do with terrorism. It says here, you got bin Laden, now let us get out of the region, Islamists tell the U.S. Then we have al-Qaeda, no factor in Yemen. And then we have Iran saying U.S. should leave the region. Okay, and then we have, of course, this little propaganda piece put out there, and it says conspiracy theories on death start to spin. And of course, when individual slaves start to call out the government's lies, flat out lies, they are called or referred to as conspiracy theories, right? Because we're children, and that's how they see us. And so when the government says something, or the mainstream media, well, then it's just God's honest truth. May 1st, you might want to go in there and check out what significance May 1st has besides May Day. Everybody knows May Day is basically the establishment of what? The Illuminati, the Upper Bavarian Illuminati, by Jesuit taught Adam Weishaupt. There's also some other things that were interesting on May 1st. You had Lusitania, also a false flag, taking off on that day. The creation of the Chicago Board of Trade, which means that could be another target. So you can go in there and check that out, and there's some interesting little things on that date. But it says here, report bin Laden already dead, and that was December 26, 2001. Then we have up next, years of deceit, United States openly admits bin Laden long dead. And then we have this, CIA agent alleged to have met bin Laden in July. And he said the terrorist leader stayed in a Dubai hospital. Then we have inside sources. Bin Laden's corpse has been on ice for nearly a decade. You can check out all these links in the description. Top government insider. Bin Laden died in 2001, 9/11, a false flag government-sponsored terrorist attack. Terrorist arrests at nuke plants. So now they're all freaking out, and now there's a citizen journalist taking pictures of the nuke plant, and so they get arrested. And next up we have here, waiting on my internet's a little slow right now. Government brewer signs bill that starts border fence construction, and they really don't give a crap about border control or anything like that. It says Mexican military police brutalize illegal aliens from Central America, then long lines at U.S.-Mexican border after bin Laden death. So now they're going to act and put up more charades like they care about closing the borders. Feds allow illegal aliens to cross border 14 times before charging them with felony, sheriff tells Congress. And then friction grows between lawmakers and DOJ over Project Gunrunner probe. I don't know, what is that? What was that? Well, it says here that the Project Gunrunner program run by the ATF and basically the DOJ intended to stop the flow of guns to criminals in Mexico. But whistleblowers claim the Bureau actually encouraged the illegal sale of firearms known to criminals, then allow those guns to be smuggled to Mexico and tracked. Okay, 5 decapitated bodies found near the Mexican capital. Then an expert says security checkpoints near soft targets may soon become the norm. So you can join me in the fourth and final part of this video series. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.